Good day, Ma'am Jelly Lasana. We are Group 5, and the position paper that we came up with is entitled Syntaxes, Vital or Ineffective. It tackles about syntaxes' advantages and disadvantages, and our stand is for its increase because of certain reasonings, arguments, and informations that makes syntaxes be a necessity for those kinds of businesses that use unethical but legal methods in order to obtain and maintain customers and patronizers. We have included our own parts as for a systematic approach of presenting our position paper, so let me introduce to you my group mates and their respective parts that will be presented to you. The first one was my part, so I am Jeffrey Padin, assigned on the presentation of the introduction. Then the second one is Mary Christine K. Arellano and Bianca Magnaye, assigned on the presentation of the counter-arguments. The third one is Samantha Nicole de la Cruz and Rhea May de Silva, assigned on the presentation of the body. And last but not the least is Jeanette Rojas and Princess Nicole Tumbaga, assigned on the presentation of the conclusion. We came up with this position paper because we want to help solve those problems that came from those kinds of businesses, both directly and indirectly. We want to address those cases where in this case of products and services are being one of the causes of the increase of mortality rate and crime rate in our country. We also want to help reduce and avoid those health problems rooting from the patronage or usage of those same products and services, and also spread awareness to those people who want to know more about this kind of issue. All of these in order to administer the betterment of our society, our economy, our country, and its people. This study of our group would contribute not only to the consumers and patronizers of sin products and services. It also includes the following kinds of people. The first one is the educators. It is vital for them to know about this certain kind of issue or topic in order to educate others, especially the students. Spread awareness as mentioned before, and also spread the knowledge to other educators that could also help it to be informed to other kinds of people. The second one is the organizations. It is also important for organizations to obtain and share factual informations towards its members, for these kinds of groups have so many people that could also be able to do something about the issue and formulate a different kind of solution not only for their own economic growth but also for the improvement of the economy itself. The next one is the practitioners. Practitioners are just like educators, but they're a bit more of an expert when it comes to this kind of field. So as another knowledge provider, our study should also help them to analyze and evaluate factual informations that could provide them more knowledge and credible informations to share and publish. Second to the last one is the policymakers. So policymakers could also benefit in our position paper for them to be able to regulate the laws that are concerning syntaxes, and by considering our conclusion and recommendations, it could also help them make other laws or bills in the future regarding these issues. And the last one is the other researchers or future researchers. This position paper could also serve as another reference for other researchers in the future. It could also provide them the information that they need if they would want to conduct further studies about this kind of topic.
So, as for the counter-arguments, we should be able to answer the question, what are the possible objections or the counter-arguments in your position paper? For the first counter-argument, which is regressive tax means that it is applied taking a larger percentage of income from low-income earners than from the high-income earners. Sin taxes discriminate against the poorer classes by placing a bigger financial burden on them relative to the burden placed on wealthier people. So as for the government, they should prioritize and also give their attention to those people who are in the low economic rank. Yes, those people would not be able to buy sin products because of the high tax, But what about those who are in the middle and high economic rank in our society? They would be more enticed on buying sin products, not caring about the higher tax that the government would put for the sin products. And for example, the people who are in the low economic rank would not be able to stop the intake or the buying of sin products because when they have an event, especially when a party, they would be attending a party and they would be giving a gift for a proper gift rather for the host for the party. The same products that have high tax would be a huge burden to them, and and it also have a huge chance that some people would not be able to stop buying same products.
So counter argument two is illegal activities. The imposition of sin taxes may result in illegal activities such as black market operation and smuggling. And then the counter argument three is consumer behavior differences. So sin taxes do not equally affect the behavior of all consumers. Although some consumers may stop their consumption because of sin taxes, others may not be willing to change their behavior. So for the counter argument 2 and 3, syntaxes will greatly affect the poor and will discriminate against the lower class by placing a bigger financial burden to them than to the wealthiest people. It will also result to corruption and under the table of the political leaders. Other consumer will avoid too much consumption to reduce the taxes they will pay, and this way the production of goods will decrease, which also results to economic disability.
So for the counter argument 4, sin taxes aren't high enough to work. If states wanted to eliminate the behavior, they would raise the tax until it was high enough to discourage most people. So according to the first counter argument, uh, sin taxes also discriminate is also a sign of discriminating people who are in the poor class, and people who are in the middle and higher class would not be able to care and still continue buying same products if the tax is not as high as possible. And for the counter argument 5, consumption is not dropping as expected. So there is still a possibility that it could be the same as the other sin stocks, or it could be even worse than the sample case in our country. Current trends shows that even with new increases in sin taxes expected in the next years. So here in our last counter argument, the consumption is not dropping as expected. So even if the government put a high tax for decent products, most people would be able to buy it, most especially when people are in the high economic rank in our society. Uh, Even if the same products price is high, uh, they would be they would not be able to stop themselves from buying same products.
So, however, in the stand of our group, we also have some informations that could prove the significance of syntaxes towards many aspects in our country. To support the claims that we're stating, here are the following arguments obtained by our group. First one, sin tax is imposed on explicit goods and enterprises at the time of procurement. Things get the extracted change because of the capacity or recognition to be hurtful or expensive to society. So, example of syntaxes were mentioned in the introduction include alcohol, gambling, cigarettes, and even sugary drinks. So, the tax is working and increasing. So, as a result, Syntaxes are more importantly a well-being measure that will debilitate people's smoke and unnecessarily devour liquor. Syntax discourages the unhealthy or immoral behavior of people in a society. So the syntaxes are not only a win for healthcare, they are a win for the poor in our country who would not be able to afford healthcare. So we came up with our claim by analyzing and evaluating both sides of the topic, the increase and the decrease of stability of the syntaxes. Our group decided to obtain information on those two sides that could prove to be a favorable stand, and we used the internet to search for some strong arguments that would complement the claim. So we were assigned for a leader to look for arguments that are in favor for increase of syntaxes, and the same goes for the counter arguments. But the only difference is that they search informations that in favor for the decrease or stability of syntaxes. With this, we found some of the most factual articles, statements that would support those two sides of our position paper. And for us to know which of those sides we should stand for, we analyze and process those arguments and counter-arguments. We started to weigh each of their advantages and disadvantages until we came up with our most important part, which is the selection of our claim. So we've identified the increase of syntax to be our stand, not only because of its many advantages and fewer disadvantages, but also because of its good opportunities that can make a better action on the issues regarding syn stocks, syn products, and services, bad results of phenomenon.
The third one is sin taxes increase the government's revenue. So, revenue from sin taxes provides the government with funds to cover the costs imposed by the consumption of good harmful. So, for example, the government made the revenue to subsidize healthcare to reduce the adverse effects of the consumption of the good harmful to society. So, when you compare income taxes to sin taxes, income taxes, it can provide the needs of the society, while in sin taxes, it can provide the wants of society. So, sin taxes is more sensible choice government revenue than the other types of taxes that help to raise the economic growth of our country. So, the fourth one is revenues from sin taxes over the authorities, the price range to call the expenses imposed via way of means of the intake of dangerous goods. So, for example, the authorities may also use to seize to subsidize healthcare to lessen the detrimental outcomes of the intake of the products dangerous to society. So, revenues from sin tax are earmarked to specific programs. So, currently, 15% is allocated towards program to help tobacco farmers and workers find livelihood alternatives. So, the remaining 85 goes to fund universal healthcare, upgrade medical facilities, and train doctors and nurses. So, overall, the sin tax is enable to the poorest and most vulnerable Filipino to obtain health service. So, with these arguments, we could also prove that the benefits that sin taxes gives us could help to reduce bad cases and phenomena that are happening to our country, economy, and society. So,
Conclusion. Hello, I'm Princess Nicole B. Tumbaga from Group 5. What is your conclusion? At the end of this, we just want what's best for our country, its economy, the society, and its people. Raising our economy full of productive, ethical programs and operations that could provide us a better chance for national progress and development is all that we need. Usage of sin products and services is just a waste of time and money, and is also dangerous to our health. The sin stocks or companies that provide sin products and services, or people their device, must be given attention and provided with the best action by the government for it could change a person's perspective of morality into a toxic one. This situation could get even worse and spread over the society. That's why it must be solved quickly.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Anne Rojas and I am here to discuss about the ninth question, which is state recommendations or action plan. Number one, the action plan we can provide is the Philippine government should take higher levels of action regarding the syntaxes to control over the quick spreading of syntaxes in our country. One reason for the government is to increase the syntaxes so that there will be probably an improvement to those phenomena. Second solution of the government is to conduct a rehabilitation operation in order to help people that are having issues with the usage of syntaxes. The member of our society should take their part to help maintain control towards its dominance in the market despite using unethical methods.
As a senior high school student, how can you relate the experience you gain in construction to position paper on your lives? Me, as a senior high school student, I can use my life experiences to convince someone that my statement is true or valid, same as the position paper.
I can relate my experience in the construction of the position paper in decision making. Like choosing a topic, we must choose the one we are interested in to be able to be productive, to be able to enjoy, to do better. This implies to when we will decide the course we will take next year. When choosing a strand in position paper, we should always choose the one that is for the sake of all, not only for ourselves, which which must be done in real life.
To our parents, for giving us the strength, love, and encouragement not to give up, for their never ending support and help in our paper. To our friends, for their help in sharing their ideas and comments that help us in various spaces in our study. To the past researchers, for the hard work on providing us such useful information for the success of our study, for their talents in giving inspirations for every one of us.
To the principal of the senior high school department, Mr. Eric Espasupil, and to our subject teacher, Ms. Jelly Villasana, for giving us the opportunity to prove our knowledge and our claims, and for their compassionate guidance and support, patience, motivation, enthusiasm, and the knowledge that they provided us throughout this study and throughout this semester. And lastly, to the Almighty God, who keeps watching and guiding us in everything we do, and for leading us through the end of this study and this video presentation without any anomalies, issues, or problems being encountered and experienced by our group.